All right, today we're jumping into a source that makes a pretty staggering claim that the United States is getting ready for what could be its riskiest military operation in decades, a direct strike on the leader of Iran. Listen to this quote. "We not only cut that hand, but also we will set fire to their world." That's a direct warning from a spokesman for Iran's armed forces. Now, according to the analysis we're digging into, this isn't just tough talk. In fact, the source material reads this very differently. It says, "This isn't the language of confidence, it's the sound of panic. A sign that leadership in Tehran is genuinely afraid of one very specific and very devastating possibility." And that right there brings us to the heart of this entire analysis, a potential extremely high-risk mission called a decapitation strike. So what exactly is a decapitation strike? Well, it's pretty much what it sounds like. It's a military strategy that goes right for the head, aiming to kill or neutralize the top political and military leaders of an enemy. And in this case, the alleged target is the most powerful person in Iran, Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei. Okay, so that's a huge claim. How does the source even begin to build that case? Well, it rests on what it calls 3 pillars of evidence: a massive military buildup, some really startling intelligence claims, and the personal motivation of the U.S. administration. Let's start with that first pillar, the military moves. The source is arguing that the recent American forces moving into the region, well, that's way more than just flexing muscle. The sheer size of it suggests this is serious preparation for a major operation. So what kind of scale are we talking about? According to the report, we're looking at about 12 warships that have been gathered in or right near the Middle East. And get this, inside that naval force, the source points to a full carrier strike group and 8 U.S. Navy destroyers. I mean, that is a serious concentration of firepower in one spot. And it's not just what's on the water. We're talking dozens of F-15E attack planes, THAAD anti-missile systems, and Patriot missile batteries. The whole point the analysis makes is this: you don't bring all this to the party for just a few limited airstrikes. This is the kind of defensive shield you would need if you were about to try and kill a head of state and had to be ready for all hell to break loose in response. Okay, so you've got the hardware, but that brings up a huge problem, which is the second pillar, intelligence. How on earth do you find a leader who has literally spent 36 years perfecting the art of hiding? We're talking decoys, secret bunkers, constantly moving around. The answer, according to this source, is maybe the most shocking part of this whole thing. It claims, and I'm quoting here, that American intelligence has been cultivating people inside Khamenei's inner circle who would cooperate with his assassination. The implication is crystal clear. Without help from the inside, a strike like this would be practically impossible. And then you've got the third and final piece of the puzzle, motivation. The source points to the U.S. administration's confidence, saying it's running high after the successful operation to remove Nicolás Maduro in Venezuela. The analysis suggests there's a belief that that success can be repeated, maybe even combined with a personal drive to hit back at the Iranian regime. So what about diplomacy? The talks? Well, the way this source frames it, all the recent negotiations aren't a real shot at peace. It's more like political theater, an offer that was actually designed to fail from the start. And here's why. The U.S. apparently gave Iran a list of 5 huge demands: end all uranium enrichment, completely dismantle their missile program, cut off all their proxy groups, stop executing protesters, and allow inspectors to go anywhere they want anytime. For Iran, that's not a starting point for talks. That's seen as a demand for total surrender. As the source material puts it, the conditions are so extreme that even the most seasoned diplomats are calling them dead on arrival. I mean, think about it. For Iran to agree would mean giving up its main defense, its missile program, and basically admitting its entire foreign policy was a failure. The analysis concludes the demands were made to be rejected, giving a pretext for military action. And that brings us to the ultimate gamble. What happens the day after a successful strike? According to the source, U.S. planners are weighing 2 profoundly different futures. And this slide really shows you how stark that choice is. Scenario 1 is the pragmatic takeover. In this version, commanders from the IRGC, maybe the same one supposedly cultivated by U.S. intelligence, grab power and immediately start negotiating to save what's left of the regime. Iran turns into a military dictatorship. But then you have scenario 2, Hardline loyalists take over, and they unleash absolute chaos, a massive retaliation, shutting down the Strait of Hormuz, and sending oil prices through the roof. The terrifying part? Nobody really knows which one is more likely to happen. So this all leads us to the final section, where the source basically argues that this isn't some far-off what if. It argues that action could be right around the corner. The analysis points to this sequence of events as a clear buildup. You've got satellite pictures of F-15s in Jordan back in January. Then, in just the last few days, military options were refined and presented. Just this week, there were hours of high-level meetings at the White House. And the source claims that as of right now, the final operational planning is done. And this quote from a former Israeli military spokesperson seems to really hammer that home. Judging by the way things look now, almost everything is in place. The source presents this as a solid intelligence assessment that the operation is ready to go, just waiting for that final green light. Which leaves us with this one final, chilling question based on the analysis we've just walked through. The assets are in place, the plans were refined. According to this source, the only real question left is, will the order be given?